One of the perks of a cross-country trip is stopping for a meal and meeting the friendly folks who make up the heart and soul of our country. Hello, we're from the Northeast. Okay, then. We'll do 55 pancakes to go.
Trump! 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 Trump!
Yeah, that's one of my favorite Family Guy episodes, and it speaks volumes to what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to get straight into it. I just basically want to do a live about that. There's a lot going on, about with the whole Trump thing, and there's a lot of historically political things going on right now. And I basically want to let you all know what's going on, have it on a record as far as like what's going on, so we can all be well informed, right? So you see the title again that I have here. It says DeSantis gay acts, more Trump supporters attacks Black people, and about Trump's 37 accounts of indictments, which is very damning and is very historic, right? So for those who say that, what are the nonsense things that I'm hearing now? You're hearing the other side says, Joe Biden is doing it. Joe Biden has nothing to do with this, right? They're doing this because Joe Biden is weak and he doesn't want Trump running against him. That's half true. Joe Biden is weak, and if Trump was to be, if it was a Trump Joe Biden election right now, runoff, Trump would win. Right? That's unfortunate, but Joe Biden is not the DOJ. Joe Biden can't send the DOJ to do that. It has nothing to do with Joe Biden. But if you're a Trumper, you think that Donald Trump, you would think that Trump would have the DOJ think the DOJ is his own personal lawyer, and that's something Trump would do. So if you're on the other side, of course, why would Joe Biden do it? Trump did it all the time, and he fired several lawyers that wouldn't do his bidding. Even William Barr, told Trump that what he was doing for January 6th is basically sedition, and he's not going to be around for it. And Joe Barr left. That's why he's not being prosecuted or anything. He's a witness to what happened, right? So that's a Republican, and there are a few with some integrity, not these MAGA maggots. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the first story that we have here. So this is going to be about Ron DeSantis. Now, you have Republicans are always saying, like if you saw my last video on Ron DeSantis' war on Black people, it's like he's doing like a two birds, one stone. He mean woke. He knows wokeness means Black people. I did a video about that. And if you saw my last video, I showed you him saying woke means the gay agenda, the gay this, the gay that, yada, 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 yada. But then at the same time, like most Republicans and people that go crazy and stuff like that, there's an agenda there, right? But before I get into that, I'm going to take you and do a little bit of history that's leading up to all this DeSantis, Trump stuff and things like that, to let you guys know that every rational person who knows what's going on, right, for a little bit over a year, know that this was going to come to fruition if there's any justice, right? So right here, I told you this, right? Trump dump, document dump, right? This is where he was getting rid of certain documents that you have, and again, White House aides and people within his own cabinet, right, or were saying things like this, right?
In the land to the lowest position in the land to every everyday citizens. You're not the king of America, right? So
And they're doing this right now. But Trump was he was flushing things down the toilet, documents down the toilet, documents he didn't like, he didn't approve of. You can't do that with federal documents. You just can't, unilaterally say, "Well, I don't like this," and just rip it up and burn it up. And then I like this on Political Lampoon right here, where it's basically saying, "Hey, look, he's doing wrongdoings, but her emails," which Hillary Clinton went through trial, did everything that she had to do, and if for those of you who don't know that live in Trump MAGA Confederate alt right Bart land, that the when she was prosecuted, they say that yes, she was very careless, but the information that she had was not nothing to the caliber of Trump. Right? It was nothing. It was nothing she didn't pose a security risk or anything like that, and it was carelessness. By what they saw, the things she had was carelessness when she had her own server. She didn't have any high classified documents like Trump do. So when they do this false equivalency, please know that Trump has nuclear secrets. Our nuclear secrets, other people's nuclear secrets. He has people that are undercover, right? He has a lot of sensitive information that all of United States enemies will love to have, right? So it's a false equivalency when they do that. And when did this happen, guys? When did I publish this? It was like a year ago. It was a year ago.
I hope he gets prosecuted, right? Like, you ever wondered why? Because remember, he did this in Mar-a-Lago. Remember, Trump used to be in right here in New York in Trump Tower. They had a lot of protests about Trump and all the things he was doing. Like, one thing that he did was Trump University, which was a scam. Trump has to run scams, right? That's why he's like like I was watching an episode of Family Guy. It was like Trump, he's
that it wasn't just an accidental removal to Mar-a-Lago, is guilty of that. And if he was prosecuted, he would never be able to hold office again. There is, of course, a political consequence, assuming that for violating it. And it is quite obvious that the actions of the president in concealing these documents, assuming that it wasn't just an accidental removal to Mar-a-Lago, is guilty of that. And if he was prosecuted, he would never be able to hold office again. There is, of course, a political consequence.
See, so even a year ago, we all knew what was going on, that he had that. The FBI knew that he had that. So him saying that they planted it there is a lie, right? But the lie changes all the time. Depending on what day it is, what hour it is, and how high. It's just ridiculous.
And it's important not just to the history of the country so that future historians can review the records, but of course it's important right now as we look to find out, what did the president know and when did he know it? What did he do with the information he had on January 6th as the insurrection was happening?
All right, so that's something else, right? So just to let you guys know that this was something that everybody knew, something that he did. It's not something that someone planted or all this garbage and stuff like that. Something that he did a year ago, and now, because of him, it's coming to bite himself in his own ass, because this is something that he did, and now it's just simply catching up with them. That's all that it is, right? So a little more. So for those that, again, I'm trying to drop some knowledge on you guys. So if you want to know, it's 37 accounts, right? That's a lot of laws broken. And you don't get indictments without evidence, unlike Trump, who said that the election was stolen. And even his own judges that he appointed, like over 50 judges, most of them that he appointed, all of them said you didn't present anything that signals any type of evidence that says that, hey, this is voter fraud in any capacity. None of that happened, right? So again, so when you get an indictment, you have to have evidence. So 37 counts of indictments mean that there's a lot of damning evidence. Some of it Trump supported. So right here, go to PBS NewsHour or whatever. Right here, it says read the full indictment on mishandling classified documents. Right. So there it is, right there, just for you guys to go on and read the whole thing. See, it's right, United States District Court. Right here versus Donald Trump. You could read the full indictment of what it is saying. Right. So no one could tell you that is I mean already is already damning if we all know the truth and stuff like that. Obviously, if you're not a MAGA or cult member or whatever, you know it's damning. And no one in their right mind will want someone this dishonest, this blatantly dishonest and just, breaking the law for what reason? I mean, I'm gonna give you a reason why. Part of it, he's an idiot, and the other one that he's greedy, right? So why you want an idiot and someone who's greedy to run this country? That absolutely makes no sense. In that puts American lives at risk, right? He had these things in the bathroom where anyone could just come in, go to Mar-a-Lago and just see it. He had it all over the place, for those of you that know, right? He just had it just laying there. You guys look at the thumbnail that I have over for this video, you could see that. It just carelessly, just all on anyone that wants to go to Mar-a-Lago, they could do it. If I was like Putin or someone from King John Il, whatever, they could just go in there and be like, hey, I just want to, have a banquet event there at Mar-a-Lago, and like, yeah, let me go to the bathroom real quick. It wasn't in a secure place, right? So there you are, guys. You could just check that out, right? So just exposing more of Donald Trump's incompetence as usual, right? So here's another one. I'm going to bring it home. I'm not going to bring it home, but to let you guys see. So this is a YouTuber. I like him. He's very informative, and he's gonna dive a little bit more into. I'm not really gonna play the whole thing, but he really just sticks to the point and just basically have them hang themselves. Basically, there's not that much commentary you have to do with these Republicans because they pretty much just hang themselves.
Booked and arraigned for 37 felony counts related to class.
Oh, come on, yo.
Classified documents that include obstruction and other crimes. Trump flew back to his resort in New Jersey, Bedminster, and he gave a speech. In this speech, Donald Trump actually admitted to some of the crimes he is accused of, misstated the law under which he is being prosecuted, wrongly said other people also committed the same crimes, which, by the way, it's not really a defense to say other people have also committed these crimes. It's just another form of an admission. And maybe most importantly, really seemed dejected and as though he is extraordinarily scared, which reportedly he is. Really a speech for the ages, which contained this instant classic line from Trump.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
It is truly beyond parody, but it is really an important speech because this speech is admissible. Legal experts have written overnight that even if Donald Trump doesn't testify in this trial, or what may be an eventual trial, the speech he gave last night is admissible as evidence. And in last night's speech, he actually admits to much of what he is accused of doing. Let's dive right in.
The sham indictment put forward by the Biden administration included staged photographs of boxes at Mar-a-Lago. Many people have asked me why I had these boxes. Why did you want them?
So remember, he says the boxes are staged, but actually they are his boxes. And now he explains why.
Answer, in addition to having every right under the Presidential Records Act, is that these boxes were containing all types of personal belongings, many, many things, shirts and shoes and everything. As can be seen in the picture where someone, not me, I wonder who it might have been, dumped one of the very neatly arranged boxes all over the floor. They were full of newspapers, press clippings, thousands of pictures, thousands and thousands of White House pictures. The White House photographers, some are with us today. They took so many pictures and we saved all of them, and they were in those boxes. Clothing, memorabilia, and much, much more. I hadn't had a chance to go through all the boxes. It's a long, tedious job, it takes a long time.
So understand that amidst the bad audio and the sniffing from Trump, there are a bunch of different defenses there. It's hard to keep track. He declassified them when he was president.
Like how he said this, the sniffing from Trump, like father, like son, right? So yeah, you could see he's saying a lot of things, trying to see what sticks to the wall, right? And he always pivots to, well, I didn't have them, right? So I did have them. I could just declassify them with the thought and all this other stuff. Plus, he's saying, remember when he left, he's absolutely right. He wasn't president. So once you're president and you had to get the out, right, you cannot take that. And even if you were president, there's rules and regulations on what you should do and how you should handle those documents. And removing them from the secure location is already problematic, even if you're president. As we all know, there's a process for everything. But it's even worse when you don't abide by that process and you have no such jurisdiction over said material.
Except this doesn't have to do when he was president. The FBI planted them. He called them planted boxes. But ultimately, what Trump is saying is, it was my right to have those. I simply hadn't gone through them yet because I was really busy. That is an admission to some of the critical facts that I don't believe his lawyers are even looking to stipulate if this eventually goes to trial. Trump digging his own hole. Trump then referring to his rights as president of the United States. But again, it's really important to understand Trump's getting himself into more trouble here because he is not indicted for his conduct as president of the United States.
The president enjoys unconstrained authority to make decisions regarding the disposal of documents.
Fox News, y'all. So all you right wingers and have your head up your ass politically when it comes to these things, right? Like this person right here, which I welcome, but he's saying things the Democrats have weaponized the DOJ, right? And I find that very interesting because that's what Trump has done in order countless times. The White House is not, or you guys will say, Joe Biden is not firing his DOJ because he wants him to do what he wants to do, right? Like far as like break the law. He didn't, and then, which was Jeff Sessions, right? And then he had William Barr to, it goes on and on. So when these people say these things, it's all pure projection because they're thinking Donald Trump would do it. So if the Democrats are in the position of power, they would do it also. So it's very juvenile, like political banter, nanny nanny boo boo kind of stuff, So it's it's all a joke when they say things like that to me. Like, these people can't be taken serious. They're pretty much, throwing rocks at glass houses.
The problem is, this is not for things Trump did as president. And we know he didn't declassify those documents because there's audio of him saying these are classified documents from July of 2021.
Unconstrained to make that decision. Neither the archivist nor Congress has the authority to veto the president's decision. The Presidential Records Act.
You are not the president. Oh, get this, guys. He's not the president. If that's the case, that means George Bush and Obama could do that. And they're not allowed to do that, right? It's really stupid.
Act does not confer any mandatory or even discretionary authority on the archivist to classify records.
Folks,
under the statute, this responsibility is left solely to the President of the United States. Think of
Donald Trump was not president when he committed the alleged acts for which he has been indicted. This is, it seems like just Trump reading stuff off of one of the very teleprompters he criticizes others for using. It seems like it's just more of that.
Yeah, so he's absolutely right. So this is not people putting words in Trump's mouth or anything like that. That's the thing. Now, it's the difference between, hey, look, I don't trust certain media outlets and so on and so forth and stuff like that. But a quote, right? Something that someone keeps saying repeatedly over and over again, historically through the course of all this, was I showed you guys from beginning to end. This is his behavior. This is his stance, right? Anyone comes and says something else, then yes, you could obviously easily challenge that and debunk that, because that's not Trump's stance. Trump said what he said, and he has many times to clear it up. Just like how, with Jeffrey Epstein and his wife going to jail and stuff like that, being found guilty of child sex trafficking, the biggest groomer in American history. And he said, "Oh, I wish her well," because he was cool with Jeffrey Epstein. He's probably cool with her, right? And people was like, "Oh, how you wishing someone that is a proven, groomer, sex offender, wish him well?" Second interview, right? And they asked him again the second time. He doubled down. "What's wrong with wishing her well? I don't get it. I know the lady, I'm just wishing her well. Why can't I wish her well?" like he's either stupid or he doesn't get it. Either way, it's just simply a bad look. He's doubling down, right? He's just simply doubling down on it. So a little bit more. So that's coming from Donald Trump. So let's all the Trump MAGA maggots, cultists, let's see what they have to say about that. Again, y'all, this is not me or a Democrat or anyone else that doesn't like Trump. If you can't use his own people, his close circle, until he kicks them out, after he finishes using them like a Kleenex or a baby wipe, these are people within his close circle. So so let's see what this report has to say. This is the majority.
Never heard of a Trump accusation that he thought was completely without merit until Trump facing these 31 counts of willful retention of national defense information. And here's clip number one of Turley on Fox News in the morning, or I should say in the afternoon. And then he comes back later in the day, I think it is, to reiterate.
President goes.
This is Fox News. Fox News. Fox News. So again, if you still want to be on, the Democrats, the Republicans, the deep state, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden. This is Fox News. This is what y'all love. Y'all love Fox News. This is from Fox News commentators, people that support Donald Trump. But again, you guys don't seem to know there are some, at least they may be on the right. They're not as far right as you are. So they still have some integrity, and they're not a MAGA cultist. They may be a MAGA supporter. I believe there's a difference between a MAGA supporter and a MAGA cultist, right? So within the Republican Party is MAGA cultists and Trump supporters, and people who used to support Trump and people who no longer support Trump, but they still support the Republican Party, right? So all these three groups are like clashing, right? And we're seeing that with DeSantis and Trump and so on, and Pence and all that. So this is Fox News, y'all.
It goes on to say, well, what happens if we just don't respond at all to the subpoena, I guess, or don't play ball with them? The president goes on to say, wouldn't it be better if we just told them we don't have anything here? Well, look, isn't it better if there are no documents?
Pause. We should say that is the transcript, apparently, of recordings they have of Trump, more or less saying, I'm guilty, but what is there a way for us to hide the fact that I'm guilty?
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who went and listened to a lot of the Nixon tapes, Nixon knew he was being recorded and was a lot more like obscure in the way he would formulate these things. He wouldn't be like, "Hey, look at this! This is top secret. You can't look at this."
Amazing, but go ahead.
Just told them we don't have anything here. Well, look, isn't it better if there are no documents? They've got these conversations that were memorialized by the president's attorneys. There's also this recording of him where he talks about this plan that's believed an attack plan against Iran. I mean, they've got a lot of information in this, Jonathan.
Exactly. Like, if you're still defending this, you're just a fucking moron. I'm sorry. You're a moron that has no sort of sense of justice, of right and wrong, of law, of caring about your fellow Americans, and the president or anyone putting the lives of other Americans and other countries' lives, very lives, in danger, all because you want to be a cuckold and be close to the ass of Donald Trump. All for that, all for fame, all for that. That's just totally disgusting.
No, it is an extremely damning indictment. There are indictments that are sometimes called narrative or speaking indictments. These are indictments that are really meant to make a point as to the depth of the evidence. There are some indictments that are just bare bones. This is not. The special counsel knew that there would be a lot of people who were going to allege that the Department of Justice was acting in a biased or politically motivated way. This is clearly an indictment that was drafted to answer those questions. It's overwhelming in details. And, the Trump team should not fool itself. These are hits below the waterline. These are witnesses who apparently testified under oath, gave statements to federal investigators, both of which can be criminally charged if they're false. Those witnesses are directly quoting the president in encouraging.
And those witnesses being his lawyers and other people that were in the room during the recording, doing his proceedings around that time where he had those documents. If you can't believe Donald Trump or the people that Donald Trump hold close to him, who can you believe?
Encouraging others not to look for documents or allegedly to conceal them. It's damaging. And the key here to keep in mind is that every case I've ever been involved with, the indictment was a heart stopper. These are written by lawyers who are trying to convict a client. Every indictment I've ever dealt with has fallen apart to some degree once we look more carefully at what the evidence may be. But this is not an indictment that you can dismiss.
Watch me.
I mean,
the bell tolls for thee, that bell tolls for thee, my lord.
you got Turley here saying like clearly what happened with this indictment too is that it is not just the charge. They have basically laid out the case. Like they've provided all of this evidence up front. And I think they felt like they must have had to do to justify the indictment. Here is, and then Turley comes back. I guess this is like what, I don't know, shortly
a few hours later. Yeah.
Documents. How do you accidentally end up with that?
Oh no, I think we were in bathrooms.
This stuck to the bottom of my shoe.
Oh, I didn't know that was in my backpack.
Put up the image. Yeah, this stuck to the bottom. Did we have that? I'm sorry.
Again, this is on banker boxes. This is in banker boxes on pallets. On pallets. How? Okay. I'm not even going to entertain that because it makes no sense. Because how do you not know, anyone at Mar-a-Lago not know truckloads of pallets of things randomly just going there? Like the whole thing breaks apart when you start looking at the reality of the whole situation. It makes no sense. This is Fox News. So again, it's not CNN saying this. Oh, the pictures, who knows? Those pictures are real. Oh no. It's Fox News. Everyone sees this. That's why they want to cancel the FBI. When is the FBI going after black people and brown people? Oh, we love the FBI. Oh, when is the police killing black people and Black Lives Matter and Donald Trump wanting to shoot I also mentioned this in my past video, want demonstrators and people of Black Lives Matter shot, no problem. Or back the blue. But when it's January 6th, it's something different. You know what I'm saying? Disband the FBI, defund the police. We don't like Capitol Police, but it's the highest form of police in the land, the Capitol Police.
I thought that was on pallets. I don't know why we put it on pallets. Okay, go ahead.
Jonathan, this is the first time our viewers are starting to get a look at some of these pictures. The boxes piled up in various locations there at Mar-a-Lago. Going back to that picture that was on the screen just a moment ago, clearly.
Oh, look, it's under a pipe. I don't know if that's a sewage pipe or a water pipe. It's a pipe. Let's say the pipe ruptures or something like that. All that stuff is damaged. Like he's hiding it. So I don't know if I say if he's half a care in the world, he was obviously hiding it in the basement, obviously. But this is absolutely care. Like, at least put like a tarp over it. This is crazy. That's crazy.
Clearly, there were boxes photographed in this indictment that were in a bathroom.
In a bathroom. It's on stage like it's going to perform or something like that.
With a toilet and a sink next to it, to John's earlier point about this could have been a space that was accessed by.
Like I said, in the bathroom. It's in the bathroom. If you look all the way up top there, it's higher than a curtain rod of the shower rod. It's packed all the way there. And you have this.
Any visitors to the estate?
Yeah, it's really breathtaking.
Pause it for 1 second. I just want everybody to know.
That's crazy. Like if you count right here, is 1, 2, 3. It's like 3 rows over here. And when you count it, it's like 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like you have like at least like 2-3 dozen boxes there. At least like 2-3 dozen boxes there. That makes no kind of sense.
I just want everybody to know I like to read in the bathroom. Yeah. That's what's going on here.
That's where I do my research.
I was just boning up. I said, bring them all into the bathroom. I'll look through them to see if there's any ones that are top secret.
Point about this could have been a space that was accessed by any visitors to the estate.
Yeah, it's really breathtaking. Obviously, this is mishandling. Putting classified documents into ballrooms and bathrooms borders on the bizarre. And these are the types of pictures that hit you below the waterline in a trial. I mean, jurors tend to be very visual in terms of evidence.
Yeah.
And it's hard to show a picture of these boxes surrounding a toilet and saying, we really acted responsibly. Now, we haven't really heard from the Trump team on these specific allegations. But also keep in mind, there's a bit of count stacking here. That is, the government's bringing dozens of counts. They only have to land one of those punches. I mean, keep in mind that every one of these counts is coming with a substantial
37. So Fox contributor, right? Fox contributor, person who likes Trump, saying there's need to land one out of the 37 indictments. Just to slam one punch. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much it's like putting Mike Tyson in the ring with Floyd Mayweather and saying saying like, hey Mike, you just gotta hit Floyd just one time. That's definitely gonna happen. And no way Floyd is gonna knock Mike out at his best, right? We all know Mike just need one hit against Mayweather and it'll be a wrap. You know why? Because Mike Tyson's a heavy hitter, right? He knocks out people way bigger than Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is outclassed, outmatched. This is what this is to me right now.
Substantial potential sentence. So for the Trump team, they have to run the table. They have to take out every single count. Or you've got a 76-year-old man looking at a potentially terminal sentence. So
we can end
this
on
is a
that.
big challenge.
Turley, whoa.
Yeah, well, I'll get the best lawyer. He'll be able to handle all of these, no problem.
Yeah, so that's it right there. You know, and again, this just makes total sense to me because, again, with the Republicans, it's all projection and just basically blind loyalty. It's not about right. It's not about wrong. It's not about law and order like that Trump said he's going to run on that he lied about, right? It's not about draining the swamp. It's not about, look, they like to talk about Hunter Biden's laptop and all this stuff like that. If there's wrongdoing if Hunter Biden did anything wrong as a private citizen, he should go to jail. If Joe Biden and Hunter Biden were in collaboration doing something to make themselves money illegally, then they both should go to jail. But being the son of the president is a form. Yeah, you could use that as far as clout and nepotism to enrich yourself. Yeah, but that's not illegal, right? If there's something illegal, that's one thing, right? And even when in Hunter Biden and they're reviewing it, even they had correspondence basically saying, "Hey, look, can you get your father to have any influence on it?" And Hunter Biden says, "My father doesn't want anything to do with this. I can't make him, do things like that. I have no sway over my father when it comes to that." So they keep talking about this Hunter Biden nonsense. It's really funny because remember, they have to ignore the fact that all of Donald Trump's family, right? Ivanka, Jared Kushner, Eric, Don Jr., all up in the White House, right? That is the epitome of what nepotism is. Ivanka, she's just Ivanka Trump. She has no political career. She didn't go to school for journalism. She's not a lawyer. She's just Trump's daughter. Same thing with Don Jr., right? But no, they get a seat at the table. Did Hunter Biden get a seat at the table? Does Hunter Biden currently has a seat at the table? No. When all the corrupt things, I shouldn't say corrupt things when it comes to his children, but things that are like very shady, right? It wasn't too shady enough for them not to be at the table. Knowing that, hey, this person's only here because it's Donald Trump's son-in-law, Donald Trump's son, Donald Trump's daughter, right? Well, no, we don't care about that. That's why it has nothing to do with the right and wrong. It's all political. It's all that this is my political team. This is your political team. So I'm going to say anything that sticks to make the other team look bad. It doesn't have to be right. It doesn't have to be wrong. It just have to make them look bad. So my theory to all this is the reason is why Donald Trump had all those documents. Remember, Kim Jong-il, right? He calls them love letters. The dictator of North Korea, a horrible person. People that even most Republicans feel that's horrible, right? He's gonna say, "Oh well, they were like love letters," right? Which goes, he likes dictators. So Jared Kushner, when he left the White House, he got $2 billion from the Saudis. $2 billion. Jared Kushner is who again, for those of you who don't know? Ivanka Trump's husband, right? Which is Donald Trump's brother-in-law. Ivanka Trump was in the White House. She had a White House appointed position, right? Jared Kushner, right? So we all know, you guys should know now, that Trump and the Saudis do deals. When he did the Muslim ban, which he did, when he did the Muslim ban the first time, it was considered unconstitutional. He did the second time, they let it go because he played around with the words, right? But my point in saying in that is that he didn't do a Muslim ban on Saudi Arabia. He only did a Muslim ban on certain countries. Any country that he was doing business with, there was no travel ban or anything like that there, right? So him and Steve Bannon, right, just like Obama and the others, right? Remember, this is supposed to be man supposed to drain the swamp, Muslim terrorists, and all this other bullshit. He's going to do a business with the Saudis, who had ties or some dealings with the people from Al Qaeda in 9/11. I don't know if he's smart enough to know that. I don't think he cares even if he did, right? So since the beginning of his presidency, this happened, right? I spoke about that in my earlier videos. You guys could check that out, of Steve Bannon. Just Google Steve Bannon, Donald Trump, Saudis, glowing globe, whatever, right? It was a glowing globe or orb they all touched and whatever and shit like that. You guys could verify that and check that out. So I'm saying to say that Trump probably took all those documents, right? This is my projection. This is not fact. This is my projection. This is my educated guess, because they just don't coincide with each other. My guess is that he took all those documents so he could sell them and trade them to the Saudis, to North Korea, to China, to make money off of it. You know what I'm saying? Why would you have that in your personal residence? It makes no sense. Because you want easy access. Because if that wasn't the case and he wanted to do that, you have to, because you're no longer president, once you move out, you can't go back in, right? Once you move out, you can't go back in. So, while I'm moving out, let me take the things that I need, right, to further enrich myself, because I'm not really that rich. I'm a scammer, I'm a grifter, and all this other stuff, right? So let me take the stuff with me so I could continually make money on it, selling out the American people, on putting people's lives and their lives at risk, because I'm just a greedy, selfish asshole, right? So he needs to get prosecuted and indicted for this. He's putting the American people's lives at risk, right? People like Eric Snowden and all these other people that are whistleblowers, but whistleblowers to me that I respect, because their main agenda was, hey, look, something needs to be done and is corrupt at the highest level, right? So here you go. Like, see, another Trump appointee. See, they do business. They all do business. So you guys can check it out. So that's my projection when it comes to Jared Kushner getting $2 billion from the Saudis. Even Chris Christie said that. This is not a new thing, y'all. If your head is in the sand politically, when you hear something wrong, then you could be on the dumb shit, right? So for me, that's going to end that particular segment of when it comes to the documents and stuff like that. Just want to put that out there. And again, if I put the link in the chat, if you got something to say about that or defend it, please come on. The link is in the chat. If you think you could defend this without deflecting to something else, which is the typical Republican defense. Like, well, it's like me saying like, oh man, I robbed the store and I pistol whipped the owner and somebody, but why they arrested me when there was a dude that robbed the same store a month ago and he did the same thing? Why am I in trouble? That's still an admission of guilt. You know what I'm saying? Just by you pointing to a similar situation, this is not similar. A similar situation doesn't exonerate you from the criminality that you just did. So it's very a disingenuous argument. So let's see here. So we have nobody brave enough to come in. So I'm going to move on. Well, brave enough or even smart enough, because no way you could defend this. So after all this stuff that was happening, right? You had the thing going on down there in Florida and stuff like that. So, like I said, the camps are split up. DeSantis and and Trump, right? So this whole thing right here, I'm going to show you this. Hold on a second.
Yes, that's Walt Disney World down in Florida. And what you see out there is about a dozen or so, maybe a few more Nazis standing outside, waving their flags, saying disgusting things as they do. Because Walt Disney World, why not there too? One Nazi, as you guys maybe have seen as the car sped past, had a poster with Ron DeSantis' face on it. Maybe he hates Ron DeSantis, or maybe they're happy that that's their governor. It's a little bit blurry, but as you can see, there's Ron DeSantis in the middle of their poster with, again, this is what I noticed earlier when I saw this, you guys. Before we go to the next image, there's also, it looks like a square, which could be, a rectangle, which could be a flag.
Again, that's what I'll show you that there's been an uproar in Florida over Disney and Trump being indicted, rightfully so. So there's been an uproar. They're losing their shit because there's accountability, right? So I just want to show you that. So again, we're not going to go into this realm again with the other MAGA retards saying that Trump is not racist and all this other dumb shit, where there's several things from him to his supporters doing racist things. All of the white nationalists and white supremacists and extremists, all of them are proudly on the right. Now, are there racists in the Democrat Party? Of course, right? But we're not going to say a slingshot and a bazooka is the same thing because they're both weapons, right? I don't do that stupid analogy. Well, that intellectual lazy. Well, there's racists on both sides, so just call it even. No, you can't call shit like that even. A bazooka and a slingshot are two different things, right? And all of the Republicans, all of the white supremacists are all on the right proudly. So are they, like I said, there's racist Democrats, but if they're really truly proud about their racism, there's a party for them, right? So no one, is going to be an undercover, covert racist when there's a party where you could be openly racist. So that's what I have to say to that, right? So moving forward. So there was an incident, right, let me see here. There was an incident that happened right outside, during the whole Trump getting indicted and stuff like that. And again, it's black people getting attacked. You got your Karens and your Kens and all these people, that always try to attack black people themselves, get sympathy, or use the police and other people in order to attack them. Right? So here, so let's go back. Let's go back a little in time. Little back in time. Do you guys remember this?
Oh!
Remember that? They didn't like what the man says. Trump isn't racist. Trump supporters ain't racist. All this other stuff. Old guy is gonna just punch a black dude in the face. So I don't know if you guys remember that. I mean, that was crazy. I remember that.
Chill. You ain't gotta grab him like that.
And what happened? The police attacks the black guy that was assaulted. You guys saw he just walked past. Right? But they attack him. Right? So it's no wonder when white supremacists and shoot black people, the dead black person is always on trial, and they try to make the person who did the crime, did the murder, innocent. Like, you see, the man just
You ain't gotta grab him like that. You ain't gotta grab him like that. Chill.
Right there.
Hey, chill.
They get him.
Chill. You ain't gotta grab him like that. You ain't gotta grab him like that. Hey, I'm not in your way.
At least you have some decent people there. It doesn't matter if the guy that was black or white trying to look up for him saying, hey, don't grab him like that. So at least there's some decent people there. So remember that. This is not a new phenomenon or something new or whatever. A lot of Trump supporters feel in the violent ones feel very emboldened, as we all know, January 6th or whatever, to commit crimes against people, specifically black people in these cases. Here is another instance of, to me, this is even more troubling. Like this, I saw this fucking pissed me off. There's like no fucking reason or excuse for this. Like, look at this. When this happened, right? This happened in January, right? 2 years ago. See, look at this black woman. You got all these Confederate people around over here grabbing her, holding her. This looks like a Klan rally. This is a goddamn lynch mob, right? Trump supporters attack a black woman. If I didn't stand up for myself, this group of people were going to beat me to death. A black woman in Los Angeles who was beaten and pepper sprayed this week by Trump supporters while her arms were held down said she's lucky to be alive. Right? Like, what the hell, man? This shit is crazy. Like, they I don't know why she was there. You guys can read the article. I don't care why she was there, right? I don't know if she provoked the situation, but no way this woman is going to provoke a situation to the extent knowing she's out much. She's at a Trump rally. So let's say she's not a Trump supporter. Right? She ain't a good nigga. So of course she's not, so she's one of the bad ones. She ain't one of the good ones, right? You think if it was BLM, and there's a lot of white people in BLM, but let's say for argument's sake it was Antifa or BLM or whatever, stuff like that, and they did that to, let's say, a black woman that was a Trump supporter, it's not a good look. But it's kind of a false equivalency because, again, the Confederate these people have a history of domestic terrorism among Black people in America. So this just enraged me. This just enraged me, and her life felt threatened. It was a woman that absolutely felt threatened. So this is nothing new, right? Which brings me to a more up-to-date incident that happened around in Florida. Remember, Florida is Florida. Florida is Florida. See right over here what happened here. I saw this on Twitter. There's a man right here. This is happening in Florida, right? And man, I wish I was in Florida right now. I would have defended this man if I was in Orlando right now. I would have stood by this elder's side, right? You're about to see what's going on as soon as it plays. I don't know why I'm having lag, but I don't know if you guys saw this story on Twitter. So I showed you the whole Ron DeSantis thing that was going on, all the Nazis there and stuff like that. So of course you're gonna have some that's happening in Disney World, but this was happening around when Trump was being indicted in Florida. This was you had a lot of people out there that were protesting and stuff like that, right? Hold on one second, guys. Let me check something. Let me check something out here. Hold on a second. All right, I'm back. Had to check something out. I have someone up here. I'm gonna let them in. What do you have to say with Go ahead, you got the floor.
No, I find it interesting. You're going back years to find cases of white people beating up black people. I mean, see it every day with black people beating on white people on Twitter, man. My Twitter feed is full of it. And Trump supporters were getting spit on, getting beat on. I mean, I'm a Trump supporter, but don't act like Democrats aren't violent. Democrats are more violent than
Yeah, you were breaking up. So the reason what you're saying now, I don't condone violence in any way except for self-defense. Now, but you're doing a false equivalency here. Someone physically getting beat up and someone being attacked on Twitter are two different things. What I'm talking about, obviously, as you can see, is talking about Trump supporters physically attacking black people. That's what I'm talking about.
So is it more common that black people are beating up on Trump supporters or black people beating on white people more common, or is it more common that Trump supporters are beating up black people?
From my assessment, from what I'm seeing, I see that their Trump supporters are beating up more on black people. That's what I've seen. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that
commit violence. Supporters don't go out shooting people. White people aren't going into black neighborhoods and causing problems. So this idea that white people are going around looking for problems, it's not the case.
I didn't say that. I did not say
pregnant women with strollers, man. So the idea that Trump supporters are a problem. If you go into a Trump rally and you cause a problem, you're going to get your ass kicked. And if you go to a Democrat rally and if you wear a Trump hat, you're going to get your ass kicked.
So, well, that is true on both sides of the aisle. I'm not going to say one is more true than the other, because I've seen it happen the other way around. Yeah, I've seen it happen the other way around. But what I am saying that is more prevalent and more likely to happen that I've seen and will happen more on the Trump side. I
recommend you do this, man. Go to a Trump rally when you get a chance. Just go as yourself. Maybe wear a Democrat shirt saying, I'm a Democrat. Go to a Trump rally, see what happens. Nothing's going to happen. Then you go to a Democrat rally or a LGBTQ rally or something, an event, and wear a Trump red hat. See what happens.
Again, I've seen from my view, from what I've seen there was a video, there's a black Republican, he showed a video of me saying the same thing. And he showed a video of a black person going to a Trump rally saying, hey, I thought I was going to get hit. I thought I was going to get beat, from what he saw, right, in the past. And those same Trump supporters came to him and was like, hey, man, no, we're not doing about that. It's not about that. We don't condone that. That's wrong. Hey, look, you're just like me. You're an American. You're this, you're that. So I was like, oh, wow. Okay, cool. I understand that. I don't paint people with a broad brush, because people are very dynamic and very different in different ways. When it comes to people, I split hairs, because remember, we're talking about group, a political group. Not everybody in that political group, and it goes for all political groups, do not agree with everything in that political group. So an intelligent person would say, hey, look, someone asked me again, it's like, hey, do you agree with the whole transgender sports thing, blah, 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 blah? No, I don't. When it comes to that, I'm 100% absolutely conservative when it comes to that. I don't think a man that's born should be competing in female sports. No, I don't agree with that. So even though I'm an independent, or I'm a centrist Democrat, I'm more like in the middle, I could say people, and there's a lot of Democrats that don't agree with that, right? That's the far left, right? There's extremes in every Democratic Party, so when it comes, and again, you said that white people are going, I'm saying white people are going into black neighborhoods, messing with black people. I didn't say anyone's going to anyone's neighborhood messing with anybody. I didn't say that, but I mean, that's all I have to say to what you have to say. So we do agree to some form, in some way, but again, you cannot deny that the Republicans are way more violent politically. That's just a fact. There's no way around it. There's more political violence on the Republican side.
Give me an example.
How so? There was a man a couple months ago that had a U-Haul truck and ropes saying he's going to kidnap Joe Biden, right? You have.
Are you talking about the Hispanic guy that drove into the White House and then they put a Nazi flag on the ground for a photo?
Yes. You had.
The guy was not white. The guy was definitely not.
Come on, stop. We're not gonna do that here. Just because someone is not white means they can't have a white ideology. That's like saying a white man can't be a Muslim. It's a religion. It's a group. That should be an ideology that you're down with or you're not. There's
so you believe the government when they come out and say that white supremacy is the biggest.
Hold on. I'll give you the examples, because you said something and I'm gonna prove to you. Hold on. I'm talking. You're muted. Nick Fuentes, right? That's a Hispanic person. The person that's in charge of the Proud Boys, right? These are not white men, right? There's a lot of non-white people that agree with racist, white supremacist ideologies. They don't have to be white.
Yeah, but calling everybody a white supremacist doesn't make your point or doesn't win an argument. All you're doing is trying to distract from actually having a conversation with these people who are not radicals, who are not fanatics, oath keepers, and the patriot groups. These are groups that just abide by the Constitution and don't like.
Wait. Hold on. So you're saying that the Proud Boys is not a radical organization, and I need to have a conversation with them.
Proud Boys started as a drinking club, an organization. The only way that
I don't care if they started as a knitting club. I'm talking about where they are right now.
Well, just because the FBI comes out and says this is a radical organization doesn't make it so. It's just, you've come to believe all of the propaganda and the misinformation or the
So wait. So the Proud Boys had nothing to do with January 6th. That was somebody else. That was the FBI or Antifa.
What do you think they did on January 6th? They didn't have guns on January 6th.
No, that's not what I asked you. I
insurrection. You think January 6th was bad? It wasn't.
Hold on. I'm asking you a question. You keep rambling. I'm asking you one specific question. Were the Proud Boys at January 6th or not? That's all I wanted to know.
It wasn't a crime to be there. It wasn't a crime. I mean, nothing that happened on January 6th was that bad, other than the killing of Trump supporters.
Okay, all right. Killing of Trump supporters by police. Back the blue, those guys. So you're on the side where you think
I'm against I'm against the police throwing projectiles into the crowd that was singing the national anthem and those being peaceful, firing bullets at these people that weren't doing anything. The cops opened up the doors and let these people in. There's video of the shaman talking to police saying, yes, y'all can come in. They weren't asked to leave. They weren't trespassing in the sense they were told to leave and they didn't leave. They just walked through the Capitol. The police let them. The police gave them tours in some cases. So the idea that they did something terrible and that there was some kind of coordinated insurrection to overthrow the government is a false narrative to clamp down on the American people. That's it.
All right. So
hurt from the fact.
Hold on. I'm gonna. You said a lot. So basically, you said the particular MAGA cover up here. You're saying that there was an insurrection, and I heard this for over a year that there was a tour and they were let in. Did you or did you not see? Right, those same people taking police riot shields, breaking into the window,
not the same,
going inside the Capitol Police saying, "Back away, go back." There's radio. You can hear the radio of them saying, "Go back." Did you see any of that?
No.
Well, I suggest you go back and you look at something that's not being posted on Breitbart or Fox News.
Hey, do you think this is some kind of organized insurrection?
Yes, it's been proven when the January 6th committee.
Hey, let me ask you this: in Ukraine in 2014, was that an insurrection?
Sir, you're pivoting to something else, and I want you to get on. I want you to get on here.
United States government.
You're muted. I want you to get on here so you can say your piece, right? But I'm not going to start talking about Ukraine. I'm trying to do a show. I really want you to come up here and say your piece and stuff like that. But
how many FBI agents were on January 6th?
I heard that. I heard that too. So even if that's the case, that makes no sense. That's like saying 5 of us is going to rob a bank, right? One of us was an agent, and he gave us a blueprint.
Okay, I got another one.
I'm talking. He gave us 5 of us going to do a bank robbery. One of them is an FBI agent. The FBI agent gives us the blueprints and the layout of the land, gives us the guns. So because we commit that crime, this is no longer a crime because the FBI agent pushed us to it. Sir, it's still a crime. It's still a crime or not? You could call it entrapment. At best, you could call it entrapment.
It's called entrapment.
The 4 people still committed a crime. They wanted to commit a crime.
Supposedly going to be kidnapped. And then there was more FBI agents in the group than there were so-called kidnappers. It happens a lot with the FBI, and it's been going on for many, many years that the FBI takes credit for breaking up gangs or breaking up attacks and all these scary narratives. And then months later, we find out that there was FBI agents inside the group that was giving them the bonds, that was helping them actually move forward. And the reason they do this, guy, is simply so they can continue to get funding and they rationalize and justify their existence.
Now, I'm not going to fight you on that, right? But this is the thing that I find. I don't know what your political affiliation is leaning, but if you're going to be totally honest, the history of the FBI was founded based upon on disrupting on Black Americans getting together. right? So that,
a radical
hold,
cross.
sir, hold on. I'm talking. I'm talking. I'll let you talk. Please let me talk. The FBI was always used to infiltrate black organizations and black people. The FBI, Martin Luther King was on the FBI watch list. Malcolm X was on the FBI watch list. You had a lot of black people that were on the FBI watch list. White Americans had no problem with that because I shouldn't say all, not all white Americans, obviously, but you had a lot of white Americans that were pro segregation, pro Jim Crow. They had no problem with that, right? And the FBI was the friend of the United States. All of a sudden, when the FBI is doing the job that it's supposed to do, like stop white supremacists from kidnapping Joe Biden and all these other things that's an opposition of the Republican Party, then the FBI becomes the enemy. You don't see how that's hypocritical, sir?
How is it hypocritical that people are now against the FBI, but they weren't years ago? You're saying people are hypocrites because of that? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, people that subscribe to your political philosophy.
I don't even know my political
had no problem.
Racist.
All right. Okay. No, you used the R word, sir. I didn't say that. I don't know you. I don't know you specifically. I'm sorry.
You've been calling the Republicans and Trump supporters, everybody racist. I mean, that's y'all's debate.
Sir, did I call you that? Sir, did I call you that? I didn't call you that. That'll be ridiculous. I don't know you. I wouldn't do that. All I'm saying where you lean. The Republican is the most racist party in America, but not all Republicans. Hold on. I'm talking. The Republican Party is the most racist party in America right now, but I would not say all Republicans are racist. People support the Republicans for different reasons. I know there are the Republicans that supported Obama, right, and didn't like what was going on, and so they went to the Republican Party. How, if they were racist, they would never have been Obama supporters. So there's I know Republicans that are white, or that are white people, and they're not racist, right? They just say, hey, look, I vote this person for this particular reason. So, sir, no, I would not call you racist by default because you're a Republican.
Hey, well, provide me some examples of how the Republicans are the racists, being that they're the ones that ended slavery.
Well,
historically speaking, have not been the racist party. The last government official to be a member of the KKK was a lifelong Democrat who the Democrats still love, and that's Robert Byrd. And Hillary Clinton and Obama and Joe Biden, all these people loved Robert Byrd. And then you got Joe Biden, who voted for and wanted segregation of schools back in the 70s. And he also authored the 1994 crime bill that put a lot of black people in jail for a lot longer than their counterparts who were using powder cocaine versus the crack cocaine. So, examples of Republicans that are being racist, because I gave you some for the Democrats.
Okay, you're right. I need to get back to the show. I have a schedule to keep. What you said was 100% correct. Joe Biden was against segregation. What's for segregation with busing, but I always tell people that on your side of the aisle, yes, he aligned himself with people of the South, which were Republicans, that was pro-segregation. So Joe Biden prides himself on working with segregationists. He's an old school Democrat. Oh, we could just get together and just work together and find some common ground. So that's
the Republicans who ended slavery and voted to end slavery, not Democrats.
Okay, sir. That's the Republic. So you never heard of the Southern strategy? You're not. I know all y'all tricks, man. The Southern strategy. The Southern strategy. We all know what the Southern. I cannot get into that. But
okay, but I just told you the last government official to be a member of the KKK.
Sir, I don't mean to cut you off, but I have a show to keep. You keep bringing up new topics and new subject. You could always come back if I have enough time at the end of the show. Then we could have a further discussion. But I need to get back. I just wanted you to put your 2 cents in. I mean, I'll give you 10 seconds to say what you have to say, and I got to keep.
You haven't provided one example of how Republicans are the racists of today. When it's time and time again, it's the Democrats that prove to be the racist. historically and today and always.
All right, sir. You know, I mean,
example.
Sir, thank you. Thank you for saying that. We all, you know, in this day and age, we could research and we all know who's who and what's what. You could come back later on when, you know, you either hang back there in backstage and I'll bring you on if I have enough time, but I'm going to continue with it. But as to your comment, you know, we all could research, we all have accessibility to research, and we all make our determination there. And my determination is that it's a political game. Historically, the Southern strategy were the Republicans back then were not the so-called Dixiecrats or the Confederacy, right? After the Southern strategy happened, real quick, because the Republicans stands, you know, that's why they need the Electoral College. You know, that's why I think the United States is somewhat of a decent country, right? Because Republicans don't run on anything tangible that could help anyone directly, right? So they had to do the whole Southern strategy, do the Electoral College so they could get votes to get the presidency. So moving right on. Right here. So like I was saying, there's a clip right here during the whole Trump thing when he was getting indicted. Both of these men are equal and they both have the right to assembly as long as they don't threaten nobody or anything like that. So you have the black guy here in the highway. If you guys can read upside down, it says pussy ass Trump. Pussy ass Trump. That's his right to say it. That is fine, right? And this guy right here, the white guy, has a whole big Trump flag. That is also fine. But what I'm about to show you is not fine.
My grandfather died for it. So get the fuck out of here. All right. Get the fuck out of here now. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. I'm not going. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out, bro. You get the fuck out. Get out of here. Get the fuck out. Get out of here. Get out, you pussy ass bitch. You non-American motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here. My fucking grandfather died for that flag.
Who is he to tell him that he is not American? Who the hell are you? I don't care about you or your grandfather. No one know who the hell you are. But who are you to tell him to three people walk up on this man being extremely aggressive? None of this is right. None of this is right. Now, he could have, now if they would have came up and say, hey, he could have yelled and screamed and stuff like that and kept his distance, but they're trying to intimidate him. He could have said how he felt in a different manner. He could have just moved differently. But these are probably people that would agree if this was a white man or something like that, and then three black people did that, and this white and if he was white and he just gunned them all down. This is Florida. Stand your ground. It's Florida. Stand your ground. You know, Kyle Rittenhouse, I'm going to go to a Black Lives Matter protest that I know I don't like the people there, and I'm going to bring an AK-47 and all this other stuff and incite violence, then shoot them and say self-defense. Same thing with Trayvon Martin. Well, I'm going to follow him even though they say it's a kid, and I'm going to follow him anyway. I'm going to just ignore orders. I'm not a cop, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to follow this kid, and when this kid... I can't handle how aggressive this kid is. I'm going to shoot this kid down. This is Florida, y'all. This is Florida. I used to live there. I just visited there. It's a nice place, and it's also a scary place. None of this is right.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. You strike me and I'll fucking rear neck you. You strike me.
He says, if you strike me, I'll knock you out. Because he knows he's in the wrong. He knows he's in the wrong. You going up, all of y'all are rolling up on this old gentleman here. I'm just gonna play it.
Me. Back off. You strike me.
I'm sorry.
You strike me.
Sorry.
I got something in my pocket. My grandfather died for that flag. I was in the military. I was in the military. I was in the military. You best take your ass back. I got out of here.
That's right. Take your ass back. He look like he got a little pistol on him. And every right, he should just plug every one of them right now, just jumping in his face, talking crazy. Right? You got the cameras there and everything. It's obviously a camera here or recording this. You see how everything is going down, right?
Fish. I got something right here. I got something. Go ahead. Go ahead. I got something. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I wonder who called the cops. Somebody called the cops. And this guy is going to say, that guy got a gun right there. He got a gun right there.
This black guy's got a gun. He's a guy. He's a guy. Okay? Stop following him. Go to the side. All right? Get out of here. Go to the sidewalk. Across the street, guys. Across the street, please. Yeah, please. Across the street. Let's go. Get on the sidewalk. Let's go. On the sidewalk. Let's go. Right. Get out of here, I want you to fuck Trump. Fuck that pussy ass Trump. All of them. Fuck all of them. Show the respect. Show respect, all right? Yeah, this is why I've been set up an area for you so you can say whatever you want. Exactly.
Stop harassing him.
Come on. No, they're okay.
Stop it.
They're okay. To the sidewalk.
You hear a lady saying, stop harassing him. He's running, he's walking away, and they still kind of, even after the cops trying to follow him. White privilege, anybody?
The sidewalk. Hey, he got the spot. Follow me. Not you. I got a
Pussy ass Trump. Pussy ass DeSantis. I'm telling you, these people are chosen. It does not take them much to get them upset. Someone can say, pussy ass Biden. Okay, whatever. In some cases, he is. Yeah, I agree with that. Pussy ass Obama. Oh, okay. All right. He is. Like a politician is not God to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know any politician was without flaw. You know, whatever.
You got some attention, didn't you? That's all I wanted. All right. No, I'm by myself. You're by yourself? No, I'm pressed, man. I'm pressed. All right. Do me a favor. I need you over there with everybody else, please. I'm going to talk to her. Okay. Talk to her. Yeah, give me a second. Come here, sir. We're going to talk here. Go ahead, sir. All right, Mama. I've been doing this. Hey, I've been this whole time. I was by myself, and they came to me. I got you. Do you have anything on you? No. No weapons, guns, knives, gauge. I've been doing this 7 years.
They say he said, I was by myself. They approached me. I've been doing this for 7 years. Right? And they're all on top of him. I wonder if they're all on top of the other Trump supporters there that look like they were about to assault this guy, that rolled up on him like a literal lynch mob.
They're right there.
I got it. Just do me a favor.
I stayed away. They came to me. I ain't gonna let them dictate my life now.
Exactly. And it's all about intimidation. That man is right. He says, I'm not gonna let them dictate my life. He didn't go over there saying anything to them. He didn't approach them or anything like that. He's like, look, you do you, I do me. Right? They didn't like how he was doing. These aren't men. These are cowards. These are children. These are grown children. You don't like what someone is saying, so you're going to go up there, threaten them, intimidate them with bodily harm.
And then what I do is, every time they come, I go to another spot. But they keep coming up on me. Yeah, I've been doing this 7 years. And guess what? Hey, would you FBI and Secret Service know me just like me and you talking.
Salute to that brother. Salute. Salute. Salute to that man. I love that man. We should be supporting people like this. Salute to that man. Right? He didn't do anything wrong. You saw the man is there minding his business. Right? You have your political ideology and admiration for whoever. I have mine. The fact that, and then, you know, like the gentleman that came on here saying that, hey, we're not race, you know, we're not racist, we're not violent or anything like that. But why did those people go there? You know what I'm saying? I would like them to put all these links and references to where Antifa, BLM, and all these people were just utterly intolerant. And if he put 6 examples of this, right, I'm pretty sure we could come up with 20. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not saying it's only one-sided, but I'm saying it's not equal. You know what I'm saying? It's not equal. I mean, if we're keeping score, it's definitely not equal, right? So there's a little bit more on, I'm going to use the Tariq Nasheed term, on the suspected white supremacists, FBA, attacking that FBA brother, right? I'm gonna use that, right? So hold on, I think it's this right here. Yeah, this is the back end of the story of the suspected white supremacists, of what he had to say.
He's, of course, been released with no preconditions because he's not considered a flight risk. But it's heating up, and it's definitely heating up in the streets as well. So I'm going to show you what's going on outside of Mar-a-Lago, what's going on outside of the courthouse. Oh, boy, is that a wild one. So we also have, this is probably the one I'm looking forward to the most today. Tucker Carlson made an argument about why Trump is being persecuted. And I kid you not when I say it is the most dishonest, disingenuous, weaselly line of BS I've ever heard in my life. I usually don't go after people's motives, but in this instance, he knows he's lying. He knows that what he's saying is not true. So we'll get to that. And then later on in the show, we will get to
Hold on, I'm bringing it up to that part. Sorry, I forgot to time stamp it, but it should be right here. Be nice to him, guys. In the comments, try to be nice. Be nice to him, man.
Violent because of, you know, they had, everybody was on the brink here, to say the least. So let's watch this one.
Once you walk your fucking punk ass off, you're wearing an American flag my grandfather died for. So get the fuck out of here. All right. Get the fuck out of here now. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. I'm not going. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out, bro. You get the fuck out. Get out of here. Get the fuck out. Get out, you pussy ass bitch. You non-American motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here. My fucking grandfather died for that flag. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. You strike me and I'll fucking rear neck your fucking. You strike me. Back off. You strike me.
I'm sorry.
You strike me.
Sorry.
I got something in my pocket.
Let's pause here to point something out real quick. All those pro-Trump protesters would talk about they have a First Amendment right to free speech, to be where they are and say what they want to say. But they're basically trying to bully somebody for also exercising their free speech. That's what they're doing. So it's free speech for me, but not for thee. That's what we're looking at right here. So...
Go to the side. All right? Get out of here.
We're on the sidewalk.
Cross the street, guys.
Across the street, please.
Yeah, please, cross the street.
Let's go. Get on the sidewalk. Let's go on the sidewalk. Let's go. Right.
So basically the cops are telling the pro-Trump people to go back to their like designated protest area, which makes sense. And just says for everybody listening to the audio podcast and not watching the video, The sign just says, "Pussy ass Trump."
Oh man. Come on, I know they got it.
I've been doing this 7 years. But it's still jarring nonetheless. Gotta be nice about this. But I bet you if you ask that guy, name one
had read the indictment.
No, I wouldn't waste my time.
Okay, I'm not looking.
Damn, I'm sorry, y'all. I thought there was the video of the guy that rolled up on the black guy. They interviewed him. Shit. I thought this was it. But basically, I mean, he didn't talk about the incident that happened. He more was talking about, the typical MAGA stuff, get ready. Yeah, a lot of people like me. We're gonna start shooting the place up. January 6th is gonna look like a playground, yada 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 yada. But God bless America anyway, right? Even though I'm gonna bring America to the brink of civil war because I can't worship my orange daddy as the president. So it's bullshit. So basically that's the position. That's pretty much what we're fighting here, right? And it's just sad, right? Oh, I have one right here. I forgot to show you because since they're talking about, because I have to show all the violence and how these Trump supporters are, right? Because remember, they're saying, hey, Donald Trump is not racist. And the gentleman here says, well, you could walk into a Trump rally and yada, 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 and nothing won't happen to you. Yeah, that's probably true. Do I feel cocky and feel like taking a chance that day? Maybe. And we probably might see what happens, right? But where am I? But right here, I did this video a while back. This is a testimony. This is a testimony of during the January 6th hearing that the gentleman that came on here that he didn't hear. So this is perfect. I got a video here for you where you could probably see what happened, because since you say you didn't see the actual breach of the Capitol, you said it was a tour.
Stupid ass.
Sir, does that look like a tour? All that screaming and yelling. Maybe a rock tour for Kiss, but that don't look like a tour of the Capitol. I've been to tours on the Capitol. That's not a tour.
Crazy. Their house.
You see the police right there? The police is trying to keep them back. I don't know if you saw that. But it looks like the police is trying to keep them back, not say, hey, come on in. Let's see.
House. Man, see the cops are running over the cops, yo.
Yeah. You see how the cops right here are like backing up, how they're rushing and they're backing up? Sir, how is that a tour? How's that? Where's the tour guide? Capitol Police aren't tour guides. Where's the tour guide? If you're going to go with your narrative, where's the tour guide?
Remember, I had a video when I did this before, one of my earlier videos. They had a Capitol Police protesting what happened, and it was calling him the N-word. They were calling him nigger and all this other stuff, and they said they're gonna shoot him with his own gun and all types of stuff. It was like I'll try to put that in it in case you guys forgot.
Sure do. Let's get it.
More and more insurrectionists were pouring into the area by the speaker's lobby near the rotunda, and some wearing MAGA hats and shirts that said Trump 2020. I told them to just leave the Capitol, and in response they yelled, "No, man, this is our house. President Trump invited us here. We're here to stop the steal. Joe Biden is not the president. Nobody voted for Joe Biden. I'm a law enforcement officer, and I do my best to keep politics out of my job. But in this circumstance, I responded. Well, I voted for Joe Biden. Does my vote not count? Am I nobody?" That prompted a torrent of racial epithets. One woman in a pink MAGA shirt yelled, "You hear that, guys? This nigger voted for Joe Biden." Then the crowd, perhaps around 20 people, joined in screaming, "Boo, fucking nigger." No one had ever called me a nigger while wearing the uniform of a Capitol Police officer. In the days following the attempted insurrection, other black officers shared with me their own stories of racial abuse on January 6th. One officer told me he had never, and in his entire 40 years of life, been called a nigger to his face, and that streak ended on January 6th.
And when you think about it, so there you have it. There you have it. I'm number one. There's nothing equivalent to January 6th from a Democratic side. I have never heard. I mean, maybe our friend here could tell us when was the instance where it was a Democratic rally and they had a black Republican and the Democrats was calling the black Republican the N-word. I would like to see this parallel, but I don't think we're gonna. I don't think we're gonna find one. You know what I'm saying? If there is, I won't be so surprised. But hey, you know, shit happens. But I definitely wouldn't call it something that's even that happens on both sides. That would be totally wrong and not happen. No, just disingenuous. So I have another video here, which is this is the funny one. I'm going out with this one. I'm going out with this one. So again, Republicans, hey, I hate LGBT people. Hate. There's a difference between like, hey, you could do look, and I go in a lot of conservative Republican states. I go to Massachusetts, I go to New Hampshire. A lot of the guys that I do are very conservative, and I speak to them. These are like one of the most coolest. They're like the coolest guys ever, right? But when they start talking politics, I don't really talk to them because I need to keep a kind of a good relationship with them, and I don't know how deep in the rabbit hole they are in, you know. But again, when just having like certain conversations without you know me going too hard on them, we agree mostly with the whole LGBTQ thing. But as far as like, you know, obviously grooming is bad, and you know, unfair competition with sports and things like that, right? We agree on that, right? But Ron DeSantis, I see right here, has a lot to answer to, because what what is going on, it doesn't, he needs the answers to this. So we'll see. I'm gonna let our friend Kyle take it away.
Why, oh why, does this keep happening? How many times have we covered either uber religious fundamentalists, pastors, priests who get caught being deep in the closet, even though they preach these anti-gay ideas? Why does that keep happening? Why does it keep happening with Republican politicians who take a stand against LGBTQ issues? Why does it keep happening with right-wing pundits who do the exact same thing? I'm, of course, thinking about Steve Deese, or as I call him, Steve D's Nuts. I'm thinking about Benny Johnson, Mr. I get served ads for single gay cruises because the ads are tailored to me and I don't even know they are. So I'm going to complain about it on Twitter. And everybody's going to point out, that's your interest, bro.
Again, there's a lot of gay Republicans, a lot of them, and they try to sweep them under the rug. I did that on like one of my last videos about Fox News supporting, the LGBT community on the low and stuff like that. So yeah.
Why does it get Ted Haggard? Ted Haggard's the classic example. Super anti-gay, caught doing crystal meth off of a hooker's ass in a hotel room. Why does it keep happening? Well, so we all know Ron DeSantis has been on a crusade against wokeness in Florida. The Stop Woke Act, which, by the way, at least in part was struck down by a court in Florida because they said this is unconstitutional. This is against the First Amendment and freedom of speech and freedom of protest. There's been the crusade in schoolrooms where they say, hey, you can't groom our kids, so there can be nothing involving gayness in the classroom. And now you have gay teachers who are even afraid to put a picture on their desk of them and their spouse because you're supposed to just pretend that gayness doesn't exist.
Well, no. And this is where I don't like the conservative view when it comes to this point. Now, when it comes to, let's say, a teacher, if you're gay, you're a man, you're a woman, and stuff like that, and you have a picture of your husband, wife, or whatever, noun or pronoun or whatever the fuck, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Now, when they say, who is this? I would say, hey, this is, we can have a conversation about that. Because if you're a woman and say, this is my wife, right? Then to me, that's where a conversation need to have, because then it's like, it opens up a door to other things. And don't fucking say it's about love, because I have men in my life, right, that are friends and I love them. It has nothing to do with sex. That's my friend I grew up with. We got each other's back. Like, hey man, I love you, man. You my bro. You my this. You my that. So don't come with that stupid bullshit of love. It has nothing to do with love. When you have same sex people, right, that are married, they have sex. They're engaged with sex. Ooh, right? So it has nothing to do with love. Yes, they may love them, but again, it's a conversation to have. To like, okay, so how do we proceed forward? I don't think you as a teacher need to hide your significant other. I don't think so. But I think there's a way, if a child was to ask, or if it's brought up, I think there's a way that you should answer that question.
So you got all this going on, but here we have former Republican Congressman Jim Bridenstine, and he was at a DeSantis rally because apparently he endorsed DeSantis. And he's going to have a moment here, which, let's just say, is raising eyebrows among every single person who sees the clip. So here he is, Republican Congressman, talking about his relationship with Ron DeSantis.
He lived in his office like I lived in my office. And together we would take a shower in the basement. And we had a daily meeting when we took showers in the basement. Am I allowed to say that? He lived in his office like I lived in my office. And together we would take a shower in the basement. And we had a daily meeting when we took showers in the basement. Am I allowed to say that?
You gay. Yo, that's crazy. I gotta play it again. That's crazy. Like they got no inside voice until it's too late. Like, oh shit, did I just say that out loud?
Am I allowed to say that?
So Ron DeSantis, or as many call him, Ron DeSantis.
Sanctimonious Ronnie, sanctimonious Ron DeSantis. I endorse his campaign, and he will be nothing without me. Absolutely nothing. They say I ran the best campaign ever in history, better than Washington or General E. Lee. He wasn't the president. I still ran the best campaign ever.
Anyway, like no.
Daily meeting when we took showers in the basement. Am I allowed to say that?
So Ron DeSantis, or as many call him, Ron DeSanctimonious, Ron DeSanctus, Pudding Ron, He's showering with dudes in his basement. He's showering with dudes in his basement. I don't want to overstate this, but you know who showers with dudes? People who want to shower with dudes. That's who showers with dudes.
Oh, God. This is too funny.
Do I even need to add any commentary? Homeboy's on an anti-gay, anti-trans crusade in Florida. And him and his buddy, Jim Bridenstine, are dick and balls all out, showering together while having a meeting in the basement.
There's a meeting in my bed.
Look, I'll say it. I don't know how controversial it is. I'll say it. But whenever you're talking about a locker room, men's locker room in particular, all the dudes who go out of their way to walk around naked on purpose, oh, you bet your ass that's not innocent. You bet your ass there's something going on there psychologically and sexually. That is definitely a thing, and I don't care who tells you otherwise. I don't like, oh, in our culture, it's okay. It doesn't mean the thing that you think it obviously does mean. Bullshit. I like how he called himself at the end. Wait, am I allowed to...
Come on, man. Don't do that to me. Hold on, I want to get to this part.
Say that? Am I allowed to say that? Let's read some of the replies just for funsies. This explains DeSantis. Gay sex. Oh, snap. It's all coming out now. Not if your Twinkies touched. This would explain so much. I never gossip except to save a soul or a conversation, but I've always wondered if Ron DeGran Wiz is a closet case. But heretofore never said that, lest I insult LGBTQ people. WTF? What? Hashtag Republicans are the problem. Did he just come out at the rally? Golden showers, showers with coworkers, top secret documents kept in the shower. As the kids would say, it is certainly sus. Now, I will point out, there's nothing wrong with being gay. There's nothing wrong with this. There's no problem. It's called freedom. It's called being true to yourself. It's called living your life. But for the love of God, drop the anti-gay, anti-trans legislation.
That shit was too that shit was too funny. That was too funny. So basically, Ron DeSantis is in the closet like R. Kelly. Well, R. Kelly's in a different kind of closet. So someone is in R. Kelly right now. But, you know, again, the hypocrisy of all politicians, but in particularly Ron DeSantis in this case, you know what I'm saying, his shower mate, his bosom buddy, his butt buddy, you know, it came out and like, hey, we should have meetings in the basement and shower. Oh, okay. I wonder if his wife knows. I wonder if Ron DeSantis' wife knows about that. So I'm going to do something that I am going to regret, right? I am going to put the link in the chat, and if anyone wants to come up, no more than 2 minutes, I gotta go. So the link's in the chat, and just basically that's all I wanted to talk about, was just basically what was going on right now in the news, because it is historically relevant. And we want to be on the right side of history, also on the right side of intelligence, of what were you doing, thinking, what was your frame of thought, you know, around this particular time. And like I said, you know, right is right, wrong is wrong. No matter what your political affiliation is just that we as the American people have to be honest with ourselves, no matter what political aisle you're on. And I said it on here, and I said it before, and I'll say it again. There are a lot of honorary Republicans, right? I said it before. I want the old school Republicans. I want the George Bushes back. You know what I'm saying? shit, I think I might even take Dick Cheney or whatever. Well, maybe not Dick Cheney, but just the regular average Republican is like, hey, look, yeah, we want power, we want to call the shots, but not in a way where it takes away from their integrity. Because, hey, look, we're all supposed to love America. We all want to make America work. We all have our different ideas and ideology of how America will work, right? So really, the Republicans used to be America first. So, and that goes with holding up certain rules and regulations and integrity and the oath that you have when you kept in office, not loyalty to a person, to a wannabe dictator, right? So basically that's, hopefully, I hope I was able to show that and to share that with you guys, because that's what we really need right now. And we don't need Trump birds. We don't need people who has an authoritarian ideology. They want a king, go somewhere else and they can have their own king and stuff like that. But this is America, it's a democratic system with the law, order, rules and regulations, constitutions, amendments, bills, yada yada yada. And they all have to be abide by, right? If you don't like it, you know what? Try to get it changed under the guides of this democratic system, right? So basically, that's all I have to say. I thank everybody who was here, who participated in the chat. The gentleman that came up, again, you're welcome to come. I really would like to talk to you some more. I found it informative and interesting. Very informative and very interesting. We could probably come up at another time. But again, everyone else in the chat, I welcome you here, as well, for participating. Now, hey, how you doing? You gotta be a little quick with it because I'm about to cut out.
Yeah, you talked about authoritarians, man. I want you to define authoritarian, because our lockdowns, forced vaccines, and forced maxing is that authoritarian?
So we're talking about the COVID, right? What happened during the COVID lockdown?
I'm talking about the idea that you just called Republicans are authoritarians, and I don't see Republicans as authoritarians because they are not forcing mandates. They are not. They're not authoritarians by nature. And I want to explain something to you on the spectrum. People talk about the left and the right spectrum. The founding fathers talked about leftism. They wanted to be as close to as anarchy as possible. That's the left. Anarchy is all the way to the left. Anything to the right is authoritarian. That's socialism. That's communism. That's fascism. It's just the spectrum on the right goes further.
Okay, so hold on. You're saying a lot of things, and I want to kind of address everything that you're saying. Basically, you're doing the broad brush again. Like you're saying that liberals do that. You're doing the broad brush of saying all liberals is this, all liberals is that. And again,
no, you just said all Republicans are authoritarians.
Okay, so let me clarify my statement. When I say that, I'm meaning the MAGA base, the Trump base, the people that is still his hardcore supporters.
So what's your definition of authoritarian, and how are they authoritarian? Provide examples of these things that you say.
Well, you were referring to the COVID lockdowns as being authoritarian, the COVID lockdowns being locked down, vaccine mandates also being authoritarian in some sort of way. And no, I wouldn't agree.
You don't agree with my body, my choice.
Well, hold on. Let me address one thing at a time. Now, I won't consider authoritarian because the CDC, the FBA, the FDA, the FAA, all these government organizations that are implemented right now are to do one thing: is to secure the safety of the American people. Right? That's what their job is to do. Now, did Fauci made some mishaps? Yes. But did Fauci, remember, Fauci's been around since I think the Bush era? Bush or maybe Clinton era, right?
'80s. He was one of the main guys.
Hold on. I'm still answering the question. So
I'm answering
this is not like Fauci. Oh, all of a sudden I'm gonna be nefarious during the Trump era. So Fauci's job and the CDC's job is to, which is one of the reasons the functions for the CDC is to any outbreaks and any viral outbreaks is to control any viral outbreaks, right? That's the job of the CDC, right? And there's been a lot of contagious diseases in America's history and past as there were lockdowns, right? That is historically proven, right? So your flu, your measles, your smallpox, all those things were infectious things, and everyone had to wear masks. Everyone had to do social distancing. So I'm going to ask you a question. When you were you born in this country?
Of course, yes.
Okay, cool. So when you were born in this country, I'm pretty sure your mother and your father loved you so much, right? And you attend public school, correct?
Part of it.
Okay, cool. So your parents loved you a lot. You attended public school. So your parents loved you a lot. So they got you vaccinated as a kid, as a child, and you went to public school. It was mandatory for people going in public school, for children going in public school to be vaccinated. Even staff has to be vaccinated, right? So because you have all these diseases, right? So why? My question to you: if you're okay with this vaccination that was also have been always given by the CDC, why all of a sudden this vaccination is bad? Is my question.
Because it's not a traditional vaccine like the other vaccines that have had decades of research and data to support their efficacy, and they actually work. This was an experimental mRNA technology that has not been used on humans, had not gone through trials, and it was for a virus that had a survivability rate of better than 99% for most of the population. So why would you take an experimental vaccine for something that has no threat to your survival whatsoever? The vaccine posed more of a threat to healthy people than COVID ever did.
All right, so let me respond to
You never answered my question on how Republicans are authoritarians.
Okay, I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna answer that. So first, I'm gonna answer your claim about COVID vaccines and it being more harmful, and the farce that it hasn't been going through human clinical trials. It has gone through human clinical trials already. Maybe what you're saying is partially true. In the beginning, way in the beginning, it wasn't, right? But everything they put forth, it went through human clinical trials to the point they felt that it was so safe after going through human clinical trials that they were administering it to children. Children were the last people to get it. And it went through those clinical trials. It did. That's a fact. So the reason why I'm saying that Republicans will be a little bit more authoritarian is because whatever Donald Trump says, they go along with what Donald Trump says. Even though Donald Trump is hypocritical in the things that he says, and he pivots from what he said previously, then he has a base. Not saying all Republicans. He has a base that will just coincide with what he says. So when Donald Trump says it's okay to eject bleach and put light in your body and shit like that, you had some Republicans that stayed quiet, didn't say anything. Then you had other Republicans that defended it or say, well, he never said that at all. So that's where I feel that in the Trump era, I'm not even talking about your George Bushes, your Ronald Reagans, or your George Bush Sr. and Juniors. Nothing like this in my lifetime have ever existed, right? But in the Republican Party, this obviously exists. So that's what I mean by authoritarian in how they think and what they do in this particular instance. So I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. I guess we have different definitions of authoritarian, because supporting somebody based on just because you support them just because they are who they are, and you don't care about the policies. You just care about that person that put forth the policy. That's a cult. That's not authoritarian. If his actions,
no, it's not. No, it's not. You're right. That's not authoritarian.
And another thing, there is no long-term data for human trials of this vaccine. They did some very short-term, quick trials with humans to make sure people didn't drop over dead. But there is no decade. There is no long-term clinical.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, because I lost a lot, not a lot of friends. I lost like a couple of friends because they felt like you, right? Now, this is my question, right? If it's bad, I like to give people rope, I like to give people leeway and like to put their ideology into the real world, because we're all talking about the real world right here. I heard people say, well, it got damaging effects, it does more harm than good. It's poison. They're putting nanomachines in there and stuff like that. So my question to that, if that's the truth, right? We know that over 1 billion people have been vaccinated. So if it does more harm than good, why aren't there 1 billion people, at least, it's more than 1 billion people that got vaccinated. Why there aren't at least 500,000 people dead?
Well, there very well could be 500,000 people dead or damaged from the vaccines.
No. I said dead. I said dead or damaged. There's no, just like how we found out that the COVID.
We do know that this is the most deadly vaccine.
Why are we seeing the same effect, or if not at least the same effect, if not more, of people dying when over 1 billion people have been vaccinated?
Well, let me ask you a question. Let's just say there were 500,000, 1 million, 2 million people dying. You think the media would report on it?
We wouldn't. We the people. We're the media. We know what's going on. I know people that died.
Well, how many times?
I know like 5 people. I can tell you right now, at least 5 people I know that died from COVID. Right?
How old were they?
They were, one was my age, some were elderly, some had health conditions. The one that I knew, he had, again, because it's a respiratory disease, right? So I had someone that died from it that had asthma, someone that died from it that had a compromised immune system. I had someone who also died from it because they were very old, right? So these weren't people that were in tip-top condition health-wise. So if everybody got it, right, we should be seeing something worse than the COVID pandemic in reverse, because more people got vaccinated and more people got it.
All right, but listen, hey, it's not said that all of the doses. There, a lot of people did examinations of different vials. So there's a website, howdeadlyismybatch.com.
Uh-huh.
You can put in your information from your vaccine card, and based on the batch that you got the vaccine from, you can see how much information, side effects, and deaths were reported amongst that batch. And what they're finding is that some batches which were much more deadly and had much more side effects than others. And there's a reason for that. If you remember, these vaccines, because of the mRNA technology, they were supposed to be held at some temperature under 100 degrees, crazy cold temperature. And by the time that they get to these facilities that don't have the proper storing capacity or technology to keep them that low, they've lost some. It was sludge. So a lot of people may have gotten vaccines that weren't potent, that had been degraded over time through transportation or there's.
I didn't hear that, but if even if that's the case, that's due to negligence. And that's not due to the science being absolutely wrong, correct. The evidence is in our face. If it was something that was deadly, I have doctors in my family. You know what I'm saying? My cousins used to work for the CDC. So when all this was going on, I was asking them questions, and they were telling me, "Look, this is what's going on. This is on the ground." I got people in the medical field, that I know personally. That if I'm not sure about something, I just go ask them. I can ask my cousin. I can ask my aunt. I can ask these people.
I would be careful with that, man, because in my years of experiments in dealing with doctors, they're very much programmed to regurgitate information and go by the consensus, and they don't question the consensus. And
that's a very good question.
Thinkers at all.
Hold on. No, that's a very good question because we are talking about.
That wasn't a question. That was a statement.
Well, yeah. So I'm going to ask. I'm going to make a statement because I like what you just said. The consensus, a scientific consensus, is done by laboratory experiments that's been peer reviewed and repeated and tested over and over again by the scientific community in order to be scientifically sound, right? So if a doctor is quoting something that the medical community is doing, is something that has been peer reviewed.
Hey, but wasn't there a medical consensus that smoking was safe? Wasn't there a medical consistency about medical?
Yes, back in the 50s, the 60s.
Why would you trust him? And then there was a consensus.
It wasn't a scientific cover up. It was a corporate cover up, just like lead, because they had lead-based paint, they had lead-based gas, right? And it was the corporations. So when the scientific community say, "Hey, look, we're noticing certain things going on within the community," and when they find out what it is, you bring Exxon in, you bring Mobil in, and say, "Hey, look," or you bring.
Coffee. Why can't you say the same about Big Pharma? Wouldn't they do the same thing to corrupt the consensus?
Oh yeah, I won't put that past them. No, I won't put that past them. No, but that you gotta go.
Is there a possibility that the vaccine is not safe and effective?
But that's again my question to you: if that's the case, why aren't we seeing over 1 billion people being sick and dying? You have not answered that question. You pivoted.
I did answer that data. I told you that there could be different batches with different potencies.
Good, could be, but you did not. You did not tell me without a shadow of doubt that this is the result of COVID being scientifically flawed. You saying could be. You're saying what if it could be? It's possible. Anything is possible, but it's not. But I have to go right now. I thank you for coming. I mean, I'll give you your last 2 minutes to say what you got to say. I mean, not 2 minutes, like make it like 30
the CDC director, the Walhansky lady. There's a clip on Twitter going around talking about, and it just shows what she stated throughout the COVID thing. And she kept on saying that majority of all the people dying, majority of all the people in the hospital are unvaccinated, and talking about the big threat to the unvaccinated. And then months later, they asked her about the information about the deaths. And she talked about, we don't have data, that's a weak spot, that we have not been absorbing the data to show who's vaccinated and who's unvaccinated at the hospitals. So they haven't even been collecting that data. So the data is not known.
All right, then. Thank you.
You can look that up on Twitter. She said just months ago that they don't have the data. They have not been collecting the data to show people in the hospital that are dying that are unvaccinated or vaccinated. So they've been corrupted by Big Pharma, and the medical consensus is about money and about depopulation, man. So if you think the government is out to save you, you've been fairly mistaken. And I'm shocked that so many Black Americans, so many Americans altogether lined up from a shot from the government coming from someone like Bill Gates, who's talked about years depopulating the world. And it's unbelievable.
Well, like I said, there's validity to what you're saying, but I don't agree with 100%. But again, thank you for coming. Thank you for participating. Hey guys, check out that information. If what he's saying is right. I don't see anything close to what he's saying, as it being, unfallible. But he could be, he may be right. One thing I would say about that is that Black Americans are, I feel, more resistant into getting vaccines from the government. There's no correlation or anything like that. When I say is, the Tuskegee experiment, we even go all the way back to the founding of this country when it comes to gynecology and all other types of. We were the guinea pigs. Black people were the guinea pigs, even though we're considered 3/5 human or a very intelligent animal, right? Biologically, we still they fooled themselves that biologically we are the same, So it's like, it was successful on this Negro winch or this Negro buck, so I could give it to my wife Jessica, and it'll be fine. Like, no, like, so if you're gonna go there, but yeah, everyone is reluctant, especially nowadays, because we can't trust our government 100% all the times, and I think that's a part of being American, and it's also a part of being about human nature. But we have to do what's best for us, and as a collective, what's best for our country. But I do thank you for coming on, and I do thank for everyone being on here. I enjoyed the conversation and everything, but I gotta go, and I'll try to do another live next time. All right, everyone, be good, take care of yourself, peace.